Hamid Ansari, accompanied by Srimati Salma Ansari, will be visiting Nigeria from September 26 to 29 at the invitation of His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He will be accompanied by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal, Honorable Minister of State for Finance, and 4 members of Parliament, senior officials, and media. India and Nigeria relations have traditionally been friendly, and the bilateral partnership was elevated to a strategic partnership in 2007. India is Nigeria's largest global trading partner, and Nigeria is India's largest trading partner in Africa, with the bilateral trade amounting to US $12.6 billion in 2015-16. India is also the largest buyer of crude oil from Nigeria. In fact, approximately 12% of our crude oil requirements are met through imports from Nigeria. Indian companies have large presence in Nigeria, and Nigeria hosts the largest Indian community in West Africa. Both the countries also have strong defense cooperation. His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, along with a high-power delegation, had participated in the 3rd India-Africa Forum Summit held in New Delhi in October 2015. Honorable Vice President's visit intends to further strengthen the strategic partnership between the two countries, expand and diversify bilateral economic engagement, and explore new avenues of partnership on a wide range of issues of shared common interest. During this visit, Honorable Vice President would be meeting His Excellency the President of Nigeria and His Excellency the Vice President of Nigeria. He will also meet the Honorable President of the Senate, Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, and deliver an address at the National Defense College of Nigeria. In the Lagos leg, which is from 28 September afternoon to 29 September afternoon, Honorable Vice President would be meeting the Honorable Governor of Lagos and deliver address at the Joint Business Forum at the University of Lagos. Honorable Vice President would also inaugurate the High Commission of India Chancery Complex in Abuja. Honorable Vice President would interact with the members of the Indian community, both in Abuja and Lagos. From Nigeria, Honorable Vice President and his delegation will travel to Mali. India and Mali enjoy warm and friendly relations. An Honorable Vice President's visit would be the first ever high-level visit to the Republic of Mali from India. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Mali, accompanied by a high-level delegation, had participated in the 3rd India-Africa Forum Summit in New Delhi in October 2015. India has been a steadfast partner of Mali's reconstruction efforts, development, and growth. India has extended 7 lines of credit amounting to US $353.60 million to Mali. 5 of the LOC projects have been implemented in the areas of agriculture machinery, electrical transmission and distribution, and supply of railway coaches and locomotives. A large project of US $150 million for power transmission is in the final stages of processing. India and Mali bilateral trade has almost trebled in the last 5 years and amounted to $350 million in 2015-16. Honorable Vice President's visit intends to further strengthen the relationship between the two countries and explore new areas of cooperation to expand and diversify the bilateral relationship. During this visit, Honorable Vice President would be meeting the President of the Republic of Mali, the Prime Minister. He would also address the National Assembly of the Republic of Mali. My second announcement, I'm happy to give you good news about 2 of our Indian nationals, Shri C. Balaram Kishan from Telangana and Shri T. Gopi Krishna from Andhra Pradesh, who were rescued from Libya. As you know, EAM had tweeted on September 15 their release from captivity after being confined since the 29th of July 2015. They will be arriving in Delhi early tomorrow, that is 23rd September. Subsequently, they will be traveling to their hometowns to be reunited with their families. This concludes my 2 announcements. Floor is now open for questions. Aditya?
Because this is on India's diplomatic strategy post the Uri terror attacks. Prime Minister yesterday met top ministers, including External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. Are there any directives given by the Prime Minister to in fact shift the focus towards Pakistan-sponsored terrorism globally? Have there been any instructions given to the ambassadors? And specifically talking about Pakistan Prime Minister's speech at the UNGA, we've seen your reaction, we've seen MJ Akbar react. So what is India going to do about this? Because they continuously rake up the Kashmir issue.
Well, as you are aware, India has been the target of cross-border terrorism emanating from Pakistan or territory under its control for a long time. The despicable Uri terrorist attack, in which 18 of our brave soldiers lost their lives, comes in a series of such attacks in the recent past. In terms of what action we are taking, I can only address this from the perspective of the MEA spokesperson. I can also share with you the diplomatic efforts that we have made and whose results are there for all of you to see. You would have seen the very strong condemnation of the Uri attack from several major countries. Expressions of support have been received from all of India's neighbors, I think except one, from the UK, from France, from Russia, from the USA, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and many other countries. Yesterday, as you are aware, the Pakistan High Commissioner was summoned by a foreign secretary and was conveyed our grave concern on such a terrorist attack on an army camp in Uri and the escalating infiltration of heavily armed and equipped terrorists tasked to carry out attacks in India. He was also reminded that the government of Pakistan had made a solemn commitment in January 2004 to not allow its soil or territory under its control to be used for terrorism against India. The persistent and growing violation of this undertaking is a matter of very serious concern. As far as the speech by the Prime Minister of Pakistan is concerned, that has already been very ably responded to by our First Secretary in our Permanent Mission of India, New York, Enam Gambhir. You would have seen the right of reply that we exercised, and that very succinctly puts the matters in their correct perspective. So you would appreciate that the onus is now squarely on Pakistan to act against terrorist groups and entities who find safe havens and all types of support in Pakistan and indulge in cross-border terrorism against its neighbors, not just India. Pakistan must dismantle the infrastructure of terrorism if it has to be seen as a responsible member of the Committee of Nations. Akhilesh?
Sorry, yesterday, I think, day before yesterday, U.S. congressmen have told their parliament to enact, they have posed for a bill that Pakistan should be declared as a sponsor of terrorism. So do you have any conversation with them, and are you going to give some input so that the case can be strengthened?
I think the development that you are referring to reflects the acknowledgement in the US Congress that a country to which the United States has channeled so much aid is actually the epicenter of terrorism, which has also targeted Americans and American interests. You would recall that the US Congress had also blocked $300 million aid to Pakistan under the Coalition Support Fund due to Pakistan's insufficient action against the dreaded Haqqani network. Earlier, the US Congress had also objected to the sale of F-16s to Pakistan. So the present bill has been introduced by two of the senior most and highly respected members of the Congress, and I'm sure it will be treated with the utmost seriousness. Sridhar?
So is India going to take any action at the UN or the UN Security Council to get Pakistan designated as a terrorist state? And you would recall that about 25 years ago, the US had put Pakistan on the watch list of state sponsors of terrorism, and as soon as Bill Clinton became the president, that was removed. So are you going to do anything to persuade the US to put Pakistan back on that watch list? Thank you.
Well, as far as we are concerned, we have been continuously sensitizing the world about the terrorism emanating from Pakistan, how Pakistan continues to treat terrorism as a matter of state policy. And we also have to work through designated counterterrorism structures. As you know, the 1267 Committee in the United Nations has certain modalities through which such things can be handled. And we continue to hope that the international community, which is already, I think, suffering from the effects of Pakistani-sponsored terrorism. After all, Pakistan's hand has been seen in a number of terror attacks all around the world, including the most recent one in New York. So we hope that increasingly the international community will continue to see the validity of ensuring that Pakistan is made to stop its state sponsorship of terrorism. Vinita?
Because yesterday we saw Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif raising Kashmir issue and talking more about Kashmir than his own country at the UNGA. Pakistan has been actually knocking all doors in the world and trying to make Kashmir a central point of discussion. How do you see Pakistan's effort to politicize Kashmir, and how does India actually plan to counter that?
Well, as you know, 2 days have passed since the high-level debate in the United General Assembly began. In each of these days, 25 countries have spoken. So which means if you count the 2 days, then 50 countries have already spoken. The UN Secretary General himself has spoken and has outlined what he believes to be the primary areas of concern. If you look at all the statements that have been made so far, no one, I repeat, no one, has referred to the issue that Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif devoted 80% of his speech to. On the contrary, virtually every statement has referred to terrorism as the main threat to international peace and security, a fact that Pakistan still remains in denial of. 4 of the 5 members of the Security Council have also spoken, and their statements are also available for all to see. In fact, the only member of the permanent member of the Security Council which has not spoken is Russia, and I think you're all aware of Russia's position on terrorism as well. As far as the so-called dossier is concerned, that Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is believed to have given to the UN Secretary General, you have seen the readout given by the Secretary General's office. It makes no mention of the dossier. It does not talk about the Secretary General wanting to intervene in Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, the Secretary General has very wisely said that this issue needs to be settled bilaterally. In addition, as I have already pointed out, you have seen the flurry of bilateral statements issued by all the major world capitals condemning the Uri terror attack in the strongest possible terms. So I think this itself makes very clear how successful Pakistan's diplomatic strategy has been. Srinjoy.
Sir, you've heard Maleha Lodi speaking about the Pakistani and Indian nuclear program and equating them. You have also heard Nawaz Sharif speaking about Pakistan's membership, his proposal to be a member of the NSG. How do you react to it?
See, our position on this issue has been made very clear on a number of occasions. We believe that issues pertaining to nuclear disarmament do not have regional solutions. These are global issues, and our position on these issues, our engagement with global forums which are dealing with these issues, is a matter of record. Parikshit.
Sir, Pakistan is now increasingly finding itself isolated in the entire SAARC region. We've seen very strong statements from Bangladesh and Afghanistan. Would you now urge SAARC nations to actually consider whether they really want to participate in the SAARC summit in Islamabad or not, and have the developments since Sunday affected India's decision as well?
Look, I cannot comment on that, but SAARC stands for regional cooperation, which is underpinned by peace and stability. The biggest threat to peace and stability, we all know, is terrorism. Squarely addressing this challenge will benefit the entire region and also strengthen regional cooperation. I'm sure all member countries of SAARC need to reflect on this. You spoke about coordination with Bangladesh and with Afghanistan. I cannot go into that, but certainly I think all victims of terrorism do stand in solidarity. Yeah, I think Manish Chand.
Because apart from expressions of solidarity and condemnation and all that we're getting, what are the diplomatic levers we have to make it very costly for Pakistan to persist on this path? For example, scrapping of the Indus Water Treaty has been tossed around. That's number one. Number two, just wanted a confirmation, has Russia cancelled a joint exercise with Pakistan?
You're entitled to one question, so please decide which question you want to ask.
The first question, that what are the diplomatic levers we have apart from, as part of our isolate Pakistan strategy?
Well, whatever diplomatic levers or leverages or blueprint we have, I'm certainly not going to discuss that in a public forum. and certainly I'm not going to debate that in the media. Our actions speak for themselves, and you are already seeing our actions are delivering results. Mukesh?
Sir, our representative in UN called Pakistan a terrorist state. How prudent or wise it is to have diplomatic relations with a terrorist state?
Look, first of all, I don't know which statement you are referring to. I think we refer to Pakistan as a country which, practices terrorism as a matter of state policy. If that is what you're referring to, now you're saying that why should we have diplomatic relations with Pakistan? Well, as you know, yesterday only, we called in their High Commissioner. We confronted him with evidence of Pakistani involvement in the latest terror attack in Uri. We conveyed to him also Pakistani involvement in earlier terror attacks, the Poonch terror attack, the capture of Bahadur Ali, etc. And we told him that if you would like to conduct an investigation, we are ready to assist you in that. Now, such demarches can only be made if you have diplomatic relations. So I think you will agree that having diplomatic relations do serve a useful purpose. Charu, at the back.
In the statement after the Foreign Secretary summoned the Pakistan High Commissioner yesterday, you mentioned right at the end that we now expect a response from Pakistan. Could you just help us understand what kind of response we're looking at, that we would expect and want, A, and B, what is the time frame we're looking at within which we would expect a response?
Well, considering 8 years have passed since the Mumbai attack trial, has been dragging on, I don't think we have kept a time frame. Obviously, it's in the interest of Pakistan to act as swiftly as it can on the perpetrators of terror, which it has harbored and which have been conducting terror attacks in India. So, Foreign Secretary has basically conveyed to to the Pakistan High Commissioner here the irrefutable proof that we have of Pakistani involvement. We have also conveyed our willingness to share fingerprint and DNA evidence should Pakistan be serious about investigating it. And now the onus is, as I said, is on Pakistan. The démarche has happened only yesterday. So let us see when we receive a response from Pakistan. Ashish.
सर पहले जो सवाल पूछा गया, हमारा जो राइट टू रिप्लाई है उसमें वी हैव यूज द टर्म टेरर स्टेट. ऐसा नहीं है कि उसको इम्प्लाई किया जा रहा है, वो ये टर्म हमने यूज़ किया है. तो क्या सर ऐसे में प्रधानमंत्री अभी भी सार्क सम्मेलन में हिस्सा लेने उस टेरर स्टेट में जाएंगे या नहीं जाएंगे? इस बारे में कोई फैसला हुआ है या नहीं? क्यों
नहीं, इसका देखिए आशीष, मैं जवाब अभी दे ही चुका हूँ. तो आप दोबारा आपने अपना जो प्रश्न है वो व्यर्थ कर दिया है. मनीष.
सर, सार्क के मेंबर कंट्रीज का एक एंटी टेररिज्म मीटिंग हो रही थी, तो हम लोग जानना चाह रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान से किस लेवल पर अपीयरेंस हुआ था, ताकि हम जानें कि पाकिस्तान कितना सीरियस है एंटी टेररिज्म एक्शन को लेकर.
देखिए, आतंकवाद का मुकाबला करने और नशीले पदार्थों के कारोबार, जाली करेंसी जैसे मुद्दों पर सहयोग करने पर सारा विश्व समुदाय और सार्क देश प्रमुखता से फोकस कर रहे हैं. आज दिल्ली में हो रही बैठक इस दिशा में एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है और सार्क के कार्यक्रम का एक महत्वपूर्ण हिस्सा है. स्वाभाविक रूप से सार्क के सभी सदस्यों को उचित अधिकारी स्तर पर इसमें भाग लेना चाहिए. जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, भारत की तरफ से तो हमारे डायरेक्टर जो इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो के हैं वो इसकी सभा की अध्यक्षता कर रहे हैं. यदि उचित दर्जे के अधिकारी द्वारा इस बैठक में भाग न लिया जाए, और पाकिस्तान ने, जैसा आप जानते हैं, पाकिस्तान से तो किसी को नहीं भेजा है, 2 अधिकारी उनके जो यहाँ दूतावास में हैं उनसे प्रतिनिधित्व करवाया है, तो यदि उचित दर्जे के अधिकारी द्वारा इस बैठक में भाग न लिया जाए तो आप स्वयं ही निष्कर्ष निकाल सकते हैं. और यदि मैं हिंदी का एक मुहावरा इस्तेमाल करूं तो चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका.
सर, पठानकोट हमले के बाद पाकिस्तान के जो हाथ थे या सबूत थे उसको दिखाने के लिए आप लोगों ने पाकिस्तान को ऑफर किया और पाकिस्तान की टीम पठानकोट बेस पर आई. उरी को लेकर भी कल सम्मेलन के दौरान इन चीज़ों को रखा गया कि किस तरह से पाकिस्तान का हाथ इस हमले के पीछे है. तो क्या पाकिस्तान अब भी आना चाहे तो उरी बेस पर उसे लाने
देखिए, ये पहली बात मैं आपको स्पष्ट करना चाहता हूं कि ये उस तात्पर्य से उनको नहीं हम ये इन्फॉर्मेशन दे रहे हैं कि वो एक टीम यहाँ भेजें, क्योंकि अभी हमारी एनआईए टीम के ऊपर ही उनका कोई उत्तर नहीं आ पाया है। वो अभी भी कह रहे हैं कि हम जो एविडेंस हमने यहाँ कलेक्ट किए हैं हम उसको एनालाइज कर रहे हैं। हमने जो ये ऑफ़र उनको दिया है वो केवल इस प्रायोजन से दिया है कि पाकिस्तान का जो अपना नेशनल फिंगरप्रिंट डेटाबेस है उसमें वो जो उरी और पूंछ के आतंकवादी हैं उनके जो फिंगरप्रिंट्स हमें मिले हैं उसके साथ वो मैच कर सकें, ताकि वो ये तथ्य स्थापित कर सकें कि वो पाकिस्तानी नागरिक थे।
Is ministry open for any initiative to draft a bill that declares Pak a terrorist state?
देखिए, इसका भी मैं जवाब, I have already answered this question. Currently in India we do not have any provision for declaring a state sponsor of terrorism. So this would require an internal legislative process within India.
Sir, this Uri attack has again showed and clearly it has come out that the Jaish-e-Mohammed imprint is on this attack also. India has taken steps to designate Masood Azhar, the leader of Jaish-e-Mohammed, as an international terrorist, a UN designated terrorist. Are we going to renew our effort and take this issue up with China, who has blocked this effort?
We have said right from the beginning that Jaish-e-Mohammed is a very well-known terrorist organization which has a global reach, and its leader continues to roam freely in the country known for harboring wanted terrorists. The 1267 issue regarding the proscription of Masood Azhar, as well as the latest attack in Uri, have both been the subject of discussion with China. Ranjit.
Is India also preparing some kind of dossier on various acts of terrorism committed by Pakistan? And when Sushma Swaraj will be visiting New York, she will be presenting it to various world leaders?
We don't need to produce a dossier. The whole world is already aware of what Pakistan's role has been in sponsoring terrorism. Sushma Swaraj ji will of course be going to New York. She will be addressing the United Nations General Assembly on the 26th of September. And I think you'll have to wait and watch what she has to say on this subject. Rakesh ji.
विकास जी, 99 प्रधानमंत्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी कारगिल यात्रा और नवाज शरीफ प्रधानमंत्री, उसके बाद जो स्थितियां बनी कारगिल युद्ध कहा गया उसे, 2016 प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी बट क्या कहते हैं उनके नवाज शरीफ के माताजी से मिले, गिफ्ट किया, उसके बाद ये उरी का जो तोहफा है, इसको किस तरह से हम परिभाषित करेंगे आप?
नहीं, मैं तो यही कहूँगा कि देखिए, जहाँ तक भारत का प्रश्न है, हमने निरंतर पाकिस्तान के प्रति अपने दोस्ती का हाथ बढ़ाया है। लेकिन जहाँ तक पाकिस्तान का प्रश्न है, उन्होंने निरंतर क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म का सहयोग लिया है। तो इस पे और क्या टिप्पणी हो सकती है? नहीं निमा।
So what happened to that request that India had made to Pakistan on exporting wheat to Afghanistan? And also, is there a rethinking on the MFN tag that India had given?
As far as the first part of your question is concerned, I think there are two aspects to it. One, that Afghanistan itself is now a member of the World Trade Organization, and as such has rights, including transit rights. That means other countries have corresponding obligations to allow needed transit to Afghanistan. We all know that the concerned country, also a WTO member, does not have much respect for global rules, whether it is trade in ordinary products or nuclear equipment and material. The bottom line is that Afghanistan's right to access is being seriously infringed. The other aspect is that the proposed supply of wheat is a humanitarian matter. The 170,000 tons of wheat has no commercial value and is not a commodity or goods in the normal commercial sense. So far, we have had no formal response from the government of Pakistan and can only hope that their approach will be consistent with the humanitarian nature of the matter, as well as the rights and obligations of Afghanistan and Pakistan under global regimes. As far as your second question regarding MFM status, I just saw on the ticker some comments by MOS Commerce in this regard, I think you would be well advised to direct your query towards them. Yeah, Elizabeth?
Sir, do you have anything more to add to, the U.S. State Department statement on the India-U.S. Afghanistan trilateral? It's a pretty sketchy statement, so I'm wondering if there's anything from the Indian perspective.
Well, if it's sketchy, then it's probably for a reason, but I think I can add a little bit more to what the statement which was issued following the meeting between India, US, and Afghanistan on September 21 in New York. The three sides shared their experience and exchanged views on various key democratic processes and institutions, such as inclusive democracy, elections, parliament, peace and reconciliation, and efforts to reinforce them. India briefed the participants on the important decisions and discussions pertaining to expansion and future of development cooperation with Afghanistan during the recent visit of President Ashraf Ghani to India. India's continued commitment to the reconstruction of Afghanistan was appreciated by all the parties. The possibilities of cooperation, cooperative efforts in specific sectors in Afghanistan were also explored. The security situation and the challenges posed by terrorism in the region were discussed. The continued commitment of the international community to strengthening capacity of Afghanistan to meet these challenges adequately and effectively was appreciated, and views were exchanged on the evolving security situation and its implications. And I think I can now read out from the press release itself that the meeting provided a forum for the US government and the government of India to explore ways to coordinate and align their assistance with the priorities of the Afghan government. They agreed that the dialogue helps advance shared values and goals and decided to continue these consultations on a regular basis. Nidhi?
Sorry, I just have a yes-no question, which is that has a final decision been taken on the Prime Minister attending SAARC, yes or no?
Well, every question does not have a yes or no answer.
So during the trilateral between the US, India, and Afghanistan, did you take up the issue of the return of Hizb Islami leader in Afghan peace process?
The readout that I have does not mention that. As I said, I'm not privy to all the discussions that were held.
But did you discuss it?
I can only share with you what I'm authorized to share with you. And that aspect that you have mentioned does not figure in the readout given to me, but I'll check on that point.
Okay, thanks.
Geeta.
Vikas Sartaj Aziz, the advisor to Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, in a statement said that India should stop blaming Pakistan, rather share evidence. Now, a démarche was issued to the Pakistani High Commissioner. Will evidence be shared with Pakistan? And if so, what are the kind of evidence that we're talking about here?
Let me then share with you more details of the démarche that was made yesterday. I had already put out a press release on the démarche that was made yesterday. Basically, the démarche was in the context of the Uri terror attack and the strong evidence that points to the involvement of organizations and individuals based in Pakistan or territory under its control. Foreign Secretary underlined that this terrorist attack was the most recent in a series launched from across the border that has steadily escalated in recent weeks. These include a foiled infiltration bid in Naugam sector on the 30th of July that resulted in the deaths of 2 terrorists and 2 Indian soldiers, one along the LOC in Machal sector on the 8th of August, resulting in the death of 3 BSF personnel and 1 terrorist, an encounter in Srinagar on the 15th of August, leading to the death of a CRPF commandant and injuries to 11 CRPF personnel, another foiled infiltration along the LOC in Uri sector the same day, where 5 terrorists were eliminated, an attempted ambush on the 17th of August of an army convoy leading to the deaths of 2 army and 1 police personnel, an interception on 21st August along the LOC in Tangdhar sector with the neutralization of 3 terrorists, and a similar event in North Kashmir on 11 September, leading to the deaths of 4 terrorists. Foreign Secretary said that the nature and frequency of this infiltration across the LOC of heavily armed terrorists charged with attacking Indian targets belies the claim of the Pakistani DGMO that the border has watertight arrangements from the Pakistani side. On the contrary, such bids cannot be continuously mounted without the active and collaborative support of Pakistani security forces. Foreign Secretary added that it is, of course, widely known that the training and arming of terrorists is freely taking place in Pakistan and Indian territory under its control. Acknowledged leaders of terrorist organizations have also been given free rein and parade around even in Islamabad. Such terrorism is not only directed against India, but is now increasingly recognized as a larger regional concern. Foreign Secretary also reminded the Pak High Commissioner of the capture of the Pakistani terrorist Bahadur Ali, to whom we had even offered consular access to Pakistan. Thereafter, as you already know, Foreign Secretary conveyed details of the various items that had been recovered from the terrorists. He showed the Pak High Commissioner the GPS tracking devices, pictures of Pakistan-made grenades, and the fingerprints of one of the terrorists. Foreign Secretary offered that in case the government of Pakistan wishes to investigate these cross-border attacks, we are ready to provide fingerprints and DNA samples of terrorists killed in the Uri and Poonch incidents. I would like to underline, as I have already mentioned before, that our offer is limited to providing fingerprints and DNA evidence to Pakistan so that Pakistan can verify it against their national database and confirm that the terrorists who attacked the Indian facilities were indeed Pakistani nationals. Foreign Secretary reminded the government of Pakistan that it had made a solemn commitment in January 2004 to not allow its soil or territory under its control to be used for terrorism against India. The persistent and growing violation of this undertaking is a matter of very serious concern, and we now await a response from the government of Pakistan. Yeah, at the back.
सर, पाकिस्तान के डिफेंस मिनिस्टर ने ट्वीट किया है कि पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर में पाकिस्तान एयर एक्सरसाइज करेगा। आपको लगता है कि कहीं न कहीं भारत को दिखाना चाहता है कि
पाकिस्तान कौन से क्या करे?
पाकिस्तान के डिफेंस मिनिस्टर ने ट्वीट करके जानकारी दी है कि पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर में पाकिस्तान एयर का ये करेगा, एक्सरसाइज करेगा।
एयर एक्सरसाइजेस करेगा। माने स्वयं वो एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं, तो मैं सवाल आपका समझा नहीं कि इसमें वो एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं तो करें। नहीं, हमारा एरिया है लेकिन उनके अनधिकृत कब्जे में है ना, अभी तो हमने उनसे छीन नहीं लिया है ना।
Because my question is little different from Pakistan's. Yes. My question is on BRICS. Since the summit will be in India,
correct,
we are planning a number of sectorial meetings.
Correct.
Underway is this PPP on infrastructure financing and agriculture. Any other, can you tell us, inform us about any other sectorial meetings that are likely to take place?
As I said, as I mentioned last time, I think Venkat had asked me a question. All the meetings that are going to take place are now listed under the BRICS website. So if you just go there, you will find that all the details are listed there. There is a separate section which mentions which are the meetings which have already been held and which are the meetings likely to take place. Yeah, Arunim.
In this diplomatic bridge that has been launched after Uri, is India considering the revisiting the 1960 Indus Waters Treaty?
I'm sure you are aware that there are differences between India and Pakistan on the implementation of the Indus Waters Treaty, but this is an issue which is being addressed bilaterally. But let me make a basic point. Eventually, any cooperative arrangement requires goodwill and mutual trust on both sides. I don't see, okay, yeah.
Just a question on Russia. There were reports that Russia canceled some military drills with Pakistan. It was unconfirmed, but there was obviously strong support from Russia after the Uri attack. So I'm wondering if there was any communication between the MEA and Russian counterparts. Thank you.
Well, certainly there has been continuous communication between MEA and our counterparts from Russia. This issue was discussed even during the very high-level intergovernmental commission that was held between India and Russia. And as you know, Pakistan occupied Kashmir is a part of sovereign Indian territory. So our sensitivities in this regard are well known internationally, and given our privileged and strategic partnership with Russia, we have rightfully conveyed our concerns to them. No, you have already asked a question. I think you have already asked a question. No, I'm sorry. If I start allowing everybody to, then we'll be sitting here till 8 p.m. Aditya has also already... yes, I think Parul. Please take a mic.
You just spoke about the Indus Waters Treaty and said that it requires, any such issue requires mutual trust and cooperation. Does it mean that India will be willing to have a rethink on this treaty, which has stood since 1960?
Yeah, for 56 years.
Yeah, and we've never gone for arbitration on this. Yeah.
Examine carefully what did I say. I said for any such treaty to work, it is important that, after all, the treaties, the preamble of the treaty itself says it's based on goodwill. So for such a treaty to work, it is important that there must be mutual trust and mutual cooperation between both the sides. It cannot be a one-sided affair. That's all I have said, and I think I will leave it at that.
But it's worked during previous wars between...
So when have I said that it is not working now? As I said, I will restrict myself to what I have said. In diplomatics, you do not spell out everything. Okay, I think finally we have exhausted all the questions. Thank you all.